That's tripping over words. Hey, what's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? Welcome to Purpose on Purpose. You have just tapped in with your big sis. Hey, man, we got an awesome show for you guys tonight. We got the wonderful. Hey, man, I ain't got to put no words out there. We got Pastor Treneil Washington in the building tonight, man. He has other titles we can put out there, but I don't think he's a man of titles. He's just that guy, you know what I mean? That came a long way. Good friend of mine, awesome man of God. And we got my bro Ron also here tonight, co-hosting, stepping in for Kenneth tonight. And hey, tap in, tune in, whatever you want to call it. We about to get it cracking. What's poppin'? Let's talk about it.
Jones.
Let's talk about it. Purpose on purpose. You know, everybody got a purpose, right? If you don't know by now, if you really don't know what your purpose is, huh? You better ask somebody. Matter of fact, get on your knees and ask God, because that's the best way to go, huh?
My auntie died from the liquor, she was drinking too much. I started drinking, had to quit cause I was drinking too much. My dad never been a father, I don't know him for that. That's why I made sure my kids know I never do that. My type, gon' protect this home.
So, as I said before, we have the wonderful, awesome, handsome, dashing, man of the cloth, none other than Pastor Treneil Washington in the building tonight. Bro, how are you doing?
Thank you for having me.
What's love?
Yes, how are you doing tonight, sir?
I'm blessed and highly favored.
Okay.
Yes, I've been watching the
Say
show
that.
for quite a while.
Okay.
It's just excitement to be able to come on and sit at the table with y'all. So
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
That's what's up. We're excited to have you.
Yes.
When you said yes to coming on the show, I was like, it's time to do our homework.
Mm-hmm.
Time to tap in and see what we can dig up
Yeah.
and make it a good show.
All right.
So I know that you are a man of the cloth, and I know that there was another Treneil before the man of the cloth.
Definitely.
Can we talk about that a little bit?
For sure.
So have you ever, or not ever, but have you always wanted to be a pastor, or was this,
No.
how did this come about?
Definitely wasn't something that I looked forward to in my life, to be honest with you. I always thought I was going to hustle and hustle my way to the top.
Yeah.
You know, I wanted to have a big name in the streets, you know, however that was going to come.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But definitely not on this side with the Lord. You know, but I do have church roots, you know what I mean, which like we all do.
No, of course.
You know, but
Absolutely.
I didn't, during my teenage years and 20s and stuff like that, that's not the route I was going. So it was definitely something that the Lord called me to do from a prison place, you know.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of how that happened.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
What was the verse was it a Bible verse? Was it an individual? What turned you?
Well, there was a bishop who spoke into my life some years ago who gave me Ezekiel 33, which talked about being a watchman, and I really never understood what it meant until this last particular situation that I found myself in 2012. Matter of fact, 12. I was in an accident. I fell asleep behind the wheel, and when I woke up, I was in jail. I had ran up into somebody's yard, drunk, you know, just partying, man, and ended up with a DUI and 2 identity thefts. Yeah. So with that situation, I found myself in jail, bailed out, started getting back to the money, and I ended up running across one of my friends who I hadn't seen in some time, and he was at Applebee's, and I went up to him like, "Hey man, what's going on?" Just hollering at him, and he said he just got out from doing 10 years, but then he was working down at the shipyard. I'm like, man, I need a job. You know, I got this court coming up, and you know how we like to do, man. We want to play the system, you know. And so I said, I got this court coming up, and so I was basically trying to get a job just to look good, you know, not knowing that through that job experience, the Lord was going to be doing some wonderful things in my life.
Amen.
And so I didn't jump on it right away, but after a couple weeks, he gave me a call, and said, hey man, they need help down here. And I gave him your name. The lady said, if you call, she would give you the job. Just like that. And so I ended up getting the job down at the shipyard. And at this time, I'm pimping and hustling women and doing other little moves that I got going on. And while I'm working, I heard a voice speak to me. And it said, let her go. I said, let her go? I can't do that. You know what I'm saying? And at this time, I hadn't got familiar with the Lord's voice in my life. And he said it again, let her go. And I shook it off again. I'm still working, But he began to explain to me, let her go, I'm already blessing you. You working down here at the shipyard, you bringing in good money every week. You don't got to fake like you like somebody, to be in their face, to do any of those things. I'm taking care of you. So you don't need to be doing this. Not only that, you might put somebody else's life in harm's way, or you can make things worse for yourself. And at that time I said, okay. And on my next break, I made the phone call and I said, hey, I'm done. You know what I mean? Just like that. I left it, And right after that was done, they began to lay people off at the job, but they hung on to me, and I was still a temp service. And I was in the process of going to court for this situation, right? And so I had ended up going to church one day, and the pastor spoke on write down everything that you want to obtain for 2013. And this was the first time sincerely that I could remember. Sincerely, I really was like, what do I want to obtain? And I said I wanted to be out the system. I wanted to have a good job. I wanted to build my family and be right with my kids. And all these things I talked about passionately that I wanted to do, I felt it. Even though it hadn't came to yet, I still felt it. And so I began to make my way back to church, but I'm working now. I had let go of my lifestyle at that time. And I was about 120 days in with the temp service, and they told me, hey, we want to hire you. I'm like, well, can we hold this off? Because, I might be going to prison. I don't want to ruin that opportunity. Let this opportunity still be here when I get out, if I do go.
Correct.
And so they said, no. They said, we still want to hire you. If you
up.
go, we're going to hold the job for you.
That's what's up.
Say that.
I said, okay. And so they hired me. My pay increased. And I worked for about 3 months with them full time. Went to trial, lost my trial, went to prison. And this was the first time I ever went to prison that I was at peace. You know what I mean? I had the ability to put everything away, take care of the home front before I left, and just turn myself in. And when I went to turn myself in, it was a nice sunny summer day. And when I tell you, man, I got up to the top of the Multnomah County Courthouse and wait for transportation, and I wasn't upset, I wasn't sad, I wasn't bothered. I was just ready, you know. And when I finally made it to Coffee Creek, first thing I grabbed was my word, you know what I mean? Grabbed my word, went in there to do my 22-hour lockdown until they figured out where they was going to send me. And that's when the Lord really began to speak to me more clearly. And he began to just give me a roadmap of the direction I was going, but not exactly laying everything out in front of me. I knew that I was done with that. You know what I mean? And so as I was sitting in there, I began to study more, and that's when the Ezekiel 33 came to me, and I really understood then that the Lord was calling me to be a watchman for a new generation of people that was coming behind me, and I needed to sound the alarm, And so I took heed to that, I didn't have no real instructions, no real guidance from anybody, but I just knew that God was giving me a word. And so that's how that all happened. And in that transition, being locked up, I went from one prison to another prison. And I knew it was going to get real when I made it to OSP, because I had so many of my homeboys here, and I said,
here come the test.
Here come the test, and I went in there and I sat down with them, and they began to, always talk about, well, what was you doing out there, man? I heard good things, man. You doing this? I said, man, I didn't come here for that, man. I said, listen, I don't even care what's going on in here, because I'm just passing through. I got a couple years to do. I'm just passing through. And so, they respected it, and a wise man told me when I was in there, I was walking the yard. He said, brother, You know, if that's what you're doing, man, you're sitting at the table. Do you understand, man? You making non-verbal commitments.
Yeah.
Because if something jump off, man, you at the table, you obligated.
Yeah.
I said, okay. So what I did was I found me a seat that I can sit by myself, that I didn't have to make no non-verbal commitments about anything. Not because I didn't love them or like them. It was just that I didn't want to be caught up in other people's things when I knew that I was trying to get to somewhere greater.
That's right.
You know, and when I sat at that table, a couple other brothers came and sat at that table too.
Yeah.
You know, and so that was my real test, being in that lion's den, having to make that decision. Is this, am I going to put on a front from what I was doing when I was in the 22-hour lockdown?
Yeah.
Or am I going to come out the 22-hour lockdown and still walk and believe in the same way I was walking and believing when was not around the population?
Right.
And so I stood with that. And then so I ended up getting to the prison where I was going to start my drug and alcohol program. And I was in chapel one night, and the voice came again, said, get up and grab the microphone. And I said, absolutely not.
Right.
That's not me, you know.
Yeah.
Right.
And it said it again.
Yeah.
And what it was, it took me back to when I was on that ship and said, let her go.
Yeah.
So
That
I
same
knew
voice.
then. I seen the blessings that came after he said, let her go.
Yeah.
Got the job, held the job, the pay went up. I'm at peace now.
Yeah.
Okay. I need to take heed to this word.
Yes.
And so he said it again. Go grab the mic. Now they had churches that would come in and do these chapels.
Yeah.
So I got up and I asked the pastor, hey, can I get the mic? I didn't know what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
You know, he said, sure, you know, and so they was playing some soft chords, and I grabbed the mic and I just began to pray. And didn't really know how, but I just prayed from my spirit.
Yeah.
And when I was done, it was men in there with their hands up and they was crying. And one of the brothers came to me and gave me a hug, said, man, I needed that.
Yeah.
And they asked me to do that every other Sunday for 6 months.
Yeah.
And they, in the midst of that, they asked me, could I do a sermon? I had never done a sermon. And so I said, I pray about it, you know.
Yeah.
And I went ahead and did the sermon. Now, people in the prison start hearing that I was going to do this sermon.
Oh, they
and
was all
cats
coming.
that wasn't even going to church.
Hey.
Said, man, I got to go see this.
Yeah.
So what ended up happening, man, that night that I had to do the sermon, man, I mean,
Got nervous?
No. I made it happen. I was nervous.
Okay.
But it was standing room only. They was lined up around the wall, man.
What?
It was
Come on now.
pimps, gang members, drug dealers, man. Cats that wasn't even going to chapel at all. They was in there, man. And I preached my first sermon. If not now, then when? And over 20 people gave their life to the Lord that night. And so
that's so dope.
That's how, you know, the beginning of my real future with the Lord came about. But I still didn't think I was going to get to this point of being a pastor. I just thought I was going to do community-based stuff.
Right.
And so that's how that came about.
But look how beautiful and organic that was, man. That's just natural
God,
journey
man.
Right there.
Yeah.
That's just no
God.
force, no front, no cap. That's
No.
just natural right there. I respect it, bro.
Praise God.
I respect it. Amen to that, bro.
I got a question. So, when you came out, I'm gonna fast forward a little bit, but we can go back. But I kind of want to fast forward just because of your age.
Yes.
So you being a pastor, and the people that God is bringing to you are the misfits, the underdogs, the ones that refuse to go into anybody's church. Unless they got somebody in there that look like them. And not only do they have somebody that look like them, the person that look like them is the one giving them the word and God using them. And so with that being said, how hard is it for you to be a pastor here in Portland, and what kind of support system from the men of God that already have done it out here? Is there anybody out here that you can go to that's like a father type of, you know what I mean? Because from what I've seen, we ain't got that out here.
Well, I definitely believe that there should be more support for what I'm doing. I have reached out for support in the past before being ordained as a pastor. I think that because it is a little bit unorthodox, as some would believe, that I didn't really properly get that welcoming, but I understand.
Yeah.
You know, God's not calling me to a religious organization,
That's right.
so to speak. He's calling me to go get those that have been left or forgotten about, you know. And so, you know, people think when we talk about Deliverance Center of Generation X that we just saying those that come through the 80s and the 90s, but the X means those that are lost and forgotten about, and that ranges from old to young. You know what I mean? We all have something that we feel that God-sized hole is missing in our life, and we need to be connected back with Christ, and that doesn't have an age on it. Right. You know what I mean? And so the stamp of that is salvation. So Deliverance Center Generation X is for those, like you said, that's lost, forgotten about, that can't feel like that don't feel like they fit into the establishment of the religious organization. And you know, just like you know, God called Paul to go to the Gentiles, you know, I feel like he called me for those. And I was at home earlier, and I was thinking about music and entertainment, and how, you know, some people like jazz, some people like R&B, some people like hardcore rap, you know what I mean, some people like clean rap, you know. And so it doesn't mean that the people that's doing it one way or the other is any different, but they all do music. You know, I'm a minister from God, but I'm called to these people at this particular time. Will he expand me and abound me to be for all people one day? I'm pretty sure he will. But right now, you know, those are the people that need it the most. And so that's what I come to do.
I think that's dope, man.
That is dope.
What is dope?
So, talking to young dudes in the community, what is your definition of salvation in your own words, and walking with the Lord in your own words that you could pass on to a young man that's walking and don't know how to get that salvation?
Well, you know, my thing is, salvation is, first of all, accepting Jesus Christ as your Lord and personal Savior.
Yes, sir.
You know, this shirt right here says that I am redeemed, you know, and being redeemed, I have been bought back for something that I can't even pay for, you know. So for me, my salvation is everything, and I'm constantly trying to obtain my salvation daily. You know what I mean? I'm walking for it daily, and there's nothing that I can do to get it. I got that unmerited favor from Christ, you know, his grace. Amen. And so, you know, but what it looks like for me day in and day out is just trying to be the best man that I can be for Christ, not for people, you know, and taking heed to the voice of what he say to me. And, you know, for some people, it might be shunned at, it might be looked down upon, but at the end of the day, it's working for me, and it's what's got me this far. And so when you ask me about the support that I get from the community or from other men of the cloth, you can't really say too much to me about where God is leading me when you didn't help pull me out the hole, but God is using me to pull other people out the hole, and it's working. So therefore, I must be doing something right.
Say that.
And so instead of denying me of what God is doing, embrace that. You know what I mean? Be able to come to me and mentor me. You know what I mean? But there's some things I may be able to give you as well, so that way we can work together cohesively to help build the kingdom. But until then, I'm gonna be like the tractor that goes into a field that has been untouched. I'm gonna go in there first, and I'm gonna level out everything so that the people that's coming behind, I have that safe passage.
You know, that reminds me of just this couple of days ago at the barbershop. We were talking about, and it got heated too, but I see why though. So we were talking about credit. And we were talking about how the generation before my generation, like my father's generation, they left us hanging. You know what I mean? But they didn't get left hanging. You know what I mean? It's like my grandparents and great grandparents, they handled their business and bought property and this and that.
Indeed.
And then they gave my father's generation the game. And then my father's generation lost the sauce. But they had the game though, but they didn't pass it on. And so we had somebody from my father's generation in there, and he was hot. What you mean? I passed it to my son. And we're like, it's not just you. You know what I mean? Like, and so I had to say, well, I didn't get none passed to me. No, your dad, you got it in you. It's in you. Your daddy in you. I'm like, okay, he could be in me, but he didn't give me the game though. You know what I mean? Nobody taught me about credit or nothing. You feel me? So nobody can get credit for anything that's going on in my life,
Right.
but God.
Right. I feel that. I feel that.
And I feel like right now, what God is doing, to me, He's doing a new thing.
Oh, definitely.
And
definitely.
nobody's gonna get credit for what He's doing.
No, definitely. He gets all the glory. For
That's
everything.
right, straight
You
up.
know?
And I think that's why nobody's able to tell you nothing, and are choosing not to, or whatever the case, because he's the one that hardens the heart of the king.
Yes. Yes.
So if the king didn't pass the game down to you, it's because he hardened his heart. Because he's the king of kings.
Absolutely.
So he gonna give you the game.
Praise God.
You know what I mean? And so that's what I feel like is going on right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because they done took the game and started putting their own little flavor in it.
Yeah.
Instead of letting it just be his recipe the whole way.
Yeah. He's raising up the remnant.
You
know?
better say that.
He's raising up the remnant.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, along with being a pastor,
Yes.
you are definitely a businessman.
Yes.
Yes, sir. So, a couple businesses. I would like you to let the people know.
Well, I have my construction company, Brothers IC LLC. Also have my nonprofit, which is Torch of Hope, bringing light to individuals in dark places and hope for them to pass the torch. And then I also have a franchise of Sub-Zero ice cream and yogurt.
What brought you to the ice cream game?
Well, you know, the thing is, man, kind of like my sister right here was saying, you know, I too talk about that in my mission statement about the generational curses of how, you know, the things that we did not properly get.
Yes.
You know, and I blame a lot of that on the crack epidemic. You
Yes,
know,
sir.
it really did run our people away from their blessings.
Yeah.
You know, and so, you know, grandma's houses was lost and sold and
Yes, sir.
everything.
Yeah.
A lot of us grew up parentless, even though the parent might have been in the house, they wasn't properly nurturing us with the things that we needed,
Yeah.
far as our credit, far as understanding on how to really face life.
How to be a
You know,
woman,
and
how to
so-
be a man.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
then guess what? We found that on the blacktop. You know what I mean? A lot of the things that we found wasn't true, but that was our reality.
That's right.
And so then good thing we had God's graces and mercies to be able to protect us while we was out there to bring us back to the truth where we are now. You know, but the way that I did come about the ice cream shop is because I didn't want to be one of those individuals that reaped a good harvest from my construction company and did not do no investing with it, you know.
Yeah.
And so I thought about my wife and my kids, and so I invested into the franchise and bought the ice cream shop for them more than it was for me because I was already endowed into the construction.
No, that's beautiful.
I love
Yes,
that.
sir. Yes, sir.
That's some good stuff right there.
Mhm.
So, with that being said, do you pass the game down to your sons? And do you have a daughter too?
I got 2 daughters and I got 3 sons, and I have a
Okay.
grandson also.
Amen.
So you giving them the blueprint?
Oh yeah, so you know all my kids, you know, they have worked at the shop, you know what I mean.
Okay.
But you know how that is, man. When it's our kids, man, they feel like they can get
Entitled.
But you know, I am working on something with my kids as of right now. They actually are finna get ready to start their YouTube channel at the shop, so it's gonna
That's
be called
what's
At the Shop with Tree and Trey.
Okay.
And so we finna get ready to look to start filming that hopefully by no later than May. So
Yo, say that, man.
yeah.
Yes,
That's
sir.
dope. So, with you having a construction company, you own the ice cream shop. Did you grow up in a household with parents or with elders that taught you the game? At all?
So it's funny. So one of my cousins, he actually attends your church, but his grandfather was a businessman, and my grandmother was a businessman. I mean, a businesswoman, you know, and they dealt in real estate and stores and different things like that. And so through them, I was able to see some things, but he was my official pastor. You know what I mean? That was a church I was raised in and brought up in. So when I look at it and think about it, I believe that those seeds was planted then,
Yes,
and
sir.
God is just allowing me to continue things that was taught from me from a man of God. And so he was a man who also did building, you know what I mean, and he had stores and different things like that, you know. And he also was a community man. He did a lot for the community. So shout out to the late Levert Franklin from Powerhouse Church of God in Christ.
Blood.
Yeah.
It's in your blood.
So with the businesses, you know,
Yeah.
I gotta give you that.
Definitely,
I
definitely.
think that's super dope. What I like about it the most, because I feel like pastors get a bad rap sometimes. It's because of the mega churches and stuff. People see you in nice things or see you with something and they think I paid my tithes. I did that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He got on brand new glasses. I bought those.
Yeah.
But God is making it where they know this didn't come from y'all.
Mm-hmm.
This came from me.
Yeah. So it's a beautiful thing. I just took a trip to Seattle a few weeks ago, and I was actually hired by a church organization to actually be able to come in and bring my ideas and help innovate the way that the Lord has called my church to be built. And so what keeps my church running the way it runs is because it's not built off the backs of the people. It's built off of entities. And so my entities is what supports. So the 10% of what my companies make is what goes into my church. So whether people there or people are not there, it's not meant for people to have to come, especially with the kind of people I deal with.
Mm-hmm.
Not throwing nothing towards them, but I'm just saying I'm looking to help people to be creators and innovators and build. You know what I mean? So if people coming out of prison, they coming off the streets and they don't have nothing, I want to be able to employ these people. You know what I mean? I want to be able to not only when you come to the altar and need prayer and you just come out of prison, or your daughter or your baby needs some diapers, I don't want to just pray for you at the altar and send you your way. I want to be able to pray for you at the altar and employ you, or pray for you at the altar and be able to help give you some diapers. And so the only way to do that is not to put the pressure on the people in $100 line, but to be able to say, even if I don't have it to offer, I should have a business friend. I should know somebody in the community that I can connect you with that can be able to give you these things.
And those are beautiful resources to have. What future do you see for your congregation and community as well as your businesses, man?
Well, right now we in transition at my church, man, and I'm really, really honing in on this new way that the Lord has taken me, and where he's taken us to be more community based. So my church will begin to look more like a Salvation Army, to where we have a sanctuary, but we also have a place for fitness. We also have a computer room. We also have a place, a resource room. We also have counseling. We also have things that people need on a day-to-day life, and not just me preaching to you over a pulpit and having you come to church on Sunday and Wednesday. We need to be able to open this thing up a lot more wider than that. If you think about a Salvation Army or a Catholic charity, they don't really get the due credit that they deserve. They actually have paid a lot of people's bills and have kept a lot of people from being evicted, and not one time do you hear somebody speak bad about the pastor of Salvation Army. You don't hear that, because at the end of the day, the first person you encounter at the Salvation Army or Catholic charities is going to be the reception. And what people don't understand is the reception is doing some work too in ministry, because she is dealing with all the people that come in there. This is the first point of contact. And so after that point, where do that person go? She ventures them off to the counseling room, or to the weight room, or to the clothes closet, or to the food pantry. And then what you do is you have somebody in those departments that is actually working, and those people is dealing with the people's needs too. And so at the end of the day, you see how ministry is much wider than the one person that sits at the pulpit and speaks down. You see all those people was able to do their part in ministry and actually meet the need of the people.
Yes.
That's how church is supposed to be.
Amen.
Yes.
Straight up and down. I like it because that doesn't mirror any church that I've heard of yet. You know what I mean? Like, I'm pretty sure that, like, really it mirrors the mega churches, honestly. And I know that your church will be, but it's not yet a mega church.
Right.
But you operate as such.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good mind to have.
Right.
Because that's where you're going.
Amen. Amen.
You know what I mean? So keep doing what you're doing.
Praise God.
And with that being said, we're going to take a break and go look at our sponsors.
Okay.
And check out, you better check out this man. We got his sponsors on the commercial break. You know what I mean? Tap in one time.
Purpose on purpose, baby. Let's talk about it. Purpose on Purpose is sponsored by Southern Kitchen, Amazing Comfort Foods, located at 3505 North Mississippi Avenue. Wednesdays and Thursdays, 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. Fridays and Saturdays, 12 p.m. to 7 p.m. You could also check them out at www.southernkitchenpdx.com. Don't forget the hot sauce. In times like this, we need to be true and stay pure. Truly Pure, located at 1006 Southeast Grand Avenue, Suite 104. Bringing you the best
supercritical CO2 cartridges in the state of Oregon. Opens up at 10 a.m., closes at 9 p.m. Offering delivery and curbside pickup for your convenience and safety. Checking in for all deals, 5 1-gram cartridges for $100 every day. Fire Friday specials, 20% off all flour. Go over there and get truly pure. No matter what the occasion or the event, Aphrodite Hair Salon got your back. Men's and women's hair salon. Haircuts, styling, weaves, Brazilian blowouts. Address is 3517 Northeast MOK Boulevard. Exclusive by appointment only. The phone number is 503-249-2833. Come get fresh. Hey yo, you ever looked around your place and envisioned something better? Or developing a property and you're in need of a contractor? Brothers IC LLC will take care of you. Kitchen, bath remodels, or new construction. Contact at brothersicllc@gmail.com. We all know what the weather be like out here in Portland. Tuesday it's 100 degrees. On Saturday it's 70 degrees. But you want to know what stays consistent? Sub-Zero Ice Cream, located at 12,000 Southeast 82nd Avenue, Clackamas Town Center. Store hours are 11 a.m. to 7 p.m., Monday through Saturday. Sunday, 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. Grab your ice cream when it's 100 degrees and a smoothie when it's 70. Peace and love. One.
Hey, welcome back to Purpose on Purpose. I'm your big sis, Angel Savage. And again, we have Pastor Treneil Washington and my great brother over here, Ron, stepping in for Mr. Kenneth.
Let's talk about it, baby.
Hey, let's talk about it. So, I do have I don't know if it's so much a question as much as it is a statement. It might be a question. So, Treneil, Pastor.
Yes.
How do I want to word that?
Take your time.
Now that we in church, hold on. Put that finger up. If this was the church, right here, these cameras, and somebody needed a word right now, you know what I mean? Because when the lights turn off and the camera turn off, this would be heard by somebody, and I think that somebody eventually is going to need a word.
Yeah.
What would your word be to them?
Well, the word that I would give somebody today, right now, is a word of encouragement. And even if you didn't believe that the Lord was by your side, would you still have enough faith to follow him? Oftentimes in life, when the winds blow, when the storms come against us, we so quick to have fear and give up. And I made a statement the other day on Facebook about how if we didn't have fear when we was out there, why have fear when we get into the arms of the Lord?
Right.
That's even more reason why we should be able to relax and know that we are safe. And so I would encourage somebody that no matter what you're going through in your life right now, no matter what it may look like, that God is still with you and he's going to stay with you because he promised to never leave you nor forsake you. And so that is a word of encouragement that I would have for somebody.
Right on, and thank you for that. My question now would be, with that being said, there's a great falling from the church at this point, and the churches are so empty. You know what I mean? And I for whatever reason, I can't gather that it would just be here in Portland, even though Portland is the most satanic place. I think that it's a worldwide thing.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? And so, what do you think that is? Why do you think there's a great falling from the church?
Well, I'm experiencing also membership loss. And it ain't because I can't give a good word, but I believe that at the end of the day, people want things right now.
Yeah.
They don't want to go through the process.
Yeah.
They don't want to go through the process of waiting on the Lord. They want to say, this is what you said, and I need it right now.
That's right.
But they fail to realize the fact that he woke you up this morning still in your right mind. They fail to
right.
realize that he still gave you the ability to create something that can
right.
help you on your way out. And so at the end of the day, the fact that your kids is still alive and well, the fact that you still got a roof over your head and food on your table, I'm not saying that those are the ultimate things, but at the end of the day, these are the little things that he's saying. Just have enough faith to believe by me showing you what I'm doing for you day to day. And if you have that kind of faith, then I can do greater things for you. And so people don't want to wait on that. They want it right now. It's like a microwave generation that we talk about.
Right.
But I believe that if we wait on the Lord, if we continue to seek his face and not his hand, then I believe that he will open up the windows of heaven and do great things for us. And it doesn't take 50 years, because we even closer now than we was before.
Right.
And so when I think about those types of things, I think about how I've only been out of prison 5 years, but I've seen the Lord do things in my life that it would take some people 15 and 20 years to do.
Right.
But it's because when I turned it over to him, I gave it all up, and I solely surrendered, and I said, Lord, wherever you tell me to go, I'm gonna go. If you say, if whatever you want me to say, then I'm gonna say it. You know, and do I have to have the education for it? Absolutely not. Because I believe that if the Lord has placed his spirit in me and is divine and is holy, then this is his temple, this is his body. And so when we talk about the will, I believe that the only will that I want to have of my own is to give it back to him.
That's the best will you could ever have.
Yeah.
Is God's will and no other will.
Yeah.
Also, I feel like we're also in the time where God is really showing us a lot. And just from my perspective, I feel like the reason one of the reasons of many, of course, that there's a great falling from the church is because people before us have made some grave decisions from taking money from the people and bouncing. I've had that experience personally, where I put my trust in the very first church I ever gave my life to Christ in, and I didn't grow up in the church.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I just wasn't a church person, but I always wanted to be a God person.
Amen.
You know what I mean? And so I finally got to a place of seeking God for real. And I gave my life to Christ in this building and trusted this man of God, and eventually he fell off. But I do believe that God was using him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But for whatever reason, he fell off as he started being more selfish than selfless.
Yeah.
And he took our money, he left.
Right.
But it's those type of mistakes that people have seen, the younger people that was coming in, and they're like, wait, hold up, if people get down like that, what I need to come to church for?
That is definitely a problem. And I believe a lot of people that I have come in encounter with my church, people coming from the streets, that's one of the things they struggle with. And so I believe that this new path, this new way that the Lord is giving us is an epitome of showing and proving to the people that if we build the kingdom not based off of the people, but allowing the pastor to be able to have a creative mind to bring things in for the people, then the people will gain trust back. Instead of the pastor asking for things from the people, the pastor is then doing things for the people.
Right.
You know, and having it that way will build trust again for the people, because they need it.
I agree. So one more thing on my side, and then I'm gonna give it to Ron. What I also feel is that we are in a season where some churches need to collaborate.
Definitely.
And like join forces. You know what I mean? Like all these empty churches. Okay, you got 50 people, we got 50 people. Why we just can't bring those 50 together and let's do this thing together?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And I think what the problem is with that is, like you said, people are selfish, and people probably are living off of people's money, and that means if we come together, then that means who's gonna profit the most? Like, how do we split this? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And so really, these is God's people,
Right.
right? So if everybody was following the order of the Lord and what He's saying, then we know that He's gonna take care of us. So it shouldn't
Right.
be about living off the people. That's
Right.
that's just what I believe.
Right.
That's been
I
the
agree.
instruction to me. Now, far as the people go, far as this church and that church, I really truly believe that Portland is too small to have all of these churches.
agree.
So we know why do we not come together?
Right.
You know what I mean? And so that's why if we begin to move in the new way of being able to be more community based and not everybody want to be the person in front of the camera over the pulpit, then therefore we can share the podium, we can share
That's right.
the platform together. Because if my thing is outreach and community and your thing is teaching and your thing is maybe counseling or whatever you went to school for, then guess what? I'm gonna stay in the lane that God gave me. I'm gonna be
Exactly.
focused on getting these resources to these people
Exactly.
while you focused on doing this Bible study and teaching, while you focused on counseling. And guess what? We all are same brothers and sisters of the cloth, but we spreading a wider net. And what
Exactly.
that does is also show the
Right.
community that we are all together as one.
Yeah.
And so I agree with you on that.
Yeah, because like what that reminds me of is it to me, like the barbershops and the salons. Like if you just drive up MLK alone, there's got to be at least 50
Yeah,
barbershops and salons
right,
just on MLK alone.
right,
And to me, that's disgusting
right.
because that shows how divided we are. You know what I mean? Like my mind frame is, how come we all? And I'm not against white people. God knows I'm not. I love you white people too. I love you white people, and all the other people.
Most definitely.
But our people need to get it together. Like
Definitely.
everybody else is tuned in and tapped in, and that's why all these buildings is going up.
Uh-huh.
And but it's off our stuff.
Uh-huh.
And so I feel like, with that being said, like my thing was with the salons, same thing. Man, how about we just all come together and put up on a big building
Yeah,
and just start doing that? Capitalize, boom, we in one building. We made that happen. We paid that off. Now, boom, y'all stay over here. Still put your money in the pot so we can go get another building and keep going. You know what I mean?
yeah. And the thing is that everybody is not building for the kingdom.
Right.
And it's about
Right.
relationship too.
Right.
And so what you have to understand, that those of us that are in the kingdom building
Yeah.
piece of this thing, those of us that are brothers and sisters in Christ, we can have that mindset. But we can't expect the world to have the same mindset of kingdom kids.
Right.
Because we are building something totally different. We're not building something off greed. We're building something that we know that don't belong to us. We're
That's
just the
right.
caretaker of it.
That's right.
And so when you have that mindset, then you know that, hey, I can build this with you because ultimately we're building it for Christ.
Right.
So that's a different mindset that a person has to have, excuse me.
You good.
And so the thing is that how many of those shops that we see being built up and down MLK or anywhere, how many of those places is ultimately built for kingdom, are
Right.
just built for wealth inside their home or their children?
You're right.
You know, my thing is not to, I know that the Lord is going to bless me abundantly, but everything I do is for the kingdom.
Yeah.
And so therefore he's going to take care of me as long as I take care of his business.
That's right.
And that's dope, because even what you said, how do you cast a wider net to reach the younger generation, like the people your children's ages and like that?
Well, you know, like I just said, that what we're getting ready to do is start at the shop with Tree and Tray for my kids. And so what they're going to do is do the same type of thing. They're going to be at the ice cream shop, and they're going to be inviting guests onto their show. And when they invite guests onto their show, they get to make different ice creams and do different things around our product, which is liquid nitrogen. So there'll be some science and things like that involved as well. And so through that, you know what I mean, I'm instructing them, I'm teaching them, I'm getting them more familiar with how to deal with people, how to be more confident in themselves, and ultimately we serve God first. So as long as I continue to teach them that, you know what I mean, I don't have to preach it to them, and they don't have to preach it to somebody else. All they have to do is be relationship people that can come in and connect with people and allow people to know then how where they spirit flow from, where they courage flow from, where their energy flow from, is from Him. So that's how I come at all people. I'm not trying to preach people down. I'm really trying to build relationship and allow them to ask, well, what is it? It's God.
Yes. Do you find it difficult balancing church and business?
No. And the reason why I don't is because it's all one and the same for me. It's building. My construction company is building. The ice cream shop is about building and expanding, and the church is about building. So it's all one blueprint. It's all about building for the kingdom, and so they just kind of overlap and work hand in hand with each other.
And for the people out there, what's the name of your church?
So the name of my church is called Deliverance Center of Generation X, and we down on 15th and Deacon.
15th and Deacon.
15th and Deacon.
And your services?
Our hours is from 11:30 to 1:30.
Sunday?
Sundays, yes, and 7 p.m. on Wednesday nights for Bible study.
Cool. You want to let them know the location of the ice cream spots too?
Yeah, so you can find us at 12,000 Southeast 82nd at Clackamas Town Center on the second floor, right across from Hollister, next to Vision Works and Macy's. And that's where we are with Sub-Zero ice cream and yogurt, and we also cater.
That's what's up. So how did that work out with you getting into the mall, brother?
Well, so there was already someone that had that location. And so, like I said before, I began to pray about some of the things I needed to do with my finances. And the Lord led me to that location. And I began to work out the things with the brokers. And I purchased it. It was already established.
Beautiful, man. Pastor Treneil, highly appreciate you, brother.
Thank you.
For real.
So one more thing. I have to say this. So you guys just heard Pastor Treneil's story. And you guys remember he didn't start off in the church. And he didn't start off like this. This is where God has taken him and taken him. And he's going to even greater places. And so he just laid out the blueprint. And you see where he started from. And I ain't saying he started from jail, but he went to jail. He's been through some stuff.
Amen. But
he's gotten through it. And so remember, it don't matter what you're going through. It don't matter what you've done in life.
Mm-hmm.
God is the ultimate and master of this masterpiece. And so we all belong to him. We are made in his likeness and in his image. Mm-hmm. And so if you want to change your life, you can.
Yes, you
change your life.
Amen.
This is the example. You know what I mean? So please, I pray that Treneil's story will change your life, will give you some type of insight, will make you rethink some things. Mm-hmm. And I believe that if you watch this thing through and through, watch it a couple of times, share it with somebody. It might not be your story, it might be somebody else's story, but share this story, because this is not just no fairy tale story. This is real life, and this is his life. Yeah. And this is a true story.
Praise God.
You know
Tap
what I
into
mean?
the church as well.
Yeah.
Tap
into his church. If you ain't even gotta go to his church, just go to church.
Tap in the church, period. Yeah.
Open that Bible up one time. You know what I mean? Like, this ain't about us preaching to you. It's just real talk. You know what I mean?
Yeah, some scriptures that God has kept near and dear to my heart is one that I will never forget is Philippians 1:6 that says, being confident of this very thing, that he who has begun a good work in you shall complete it upon the day of Jesus Christ, as well as Jeremiah 29:11 through 14, Joshua 1 through 5, and like I said, Ezekiel 33. Them is scriptures that the Lord has given me to be able to walk this journey that I'm on. And anytime I'm feeling discouraged, he reminds me that I led you here. And so, like sis said, get inside your word and get on your face to the Lord, because he has a word for you. And if you're watching this, then you got to believe that he got a word for you, because at the end of the day, this definitely is spirit felt. God is doing great things with purpose on purpose, and it's time to connect and find out what your purpose is.
Straight up. Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it.
Thank you.
Pastor Treneil.
You know, everybody got a purpose, right? If you don't know by now, if you really don't know what your purpose is, you better ask somebody. Matter of fact, get on your knees and ask God, because that's the best way to go,
My auntie died from the liquor, she was drinking too much. I started drinking, had to quit cause I was drinking too much. My dad never been a father, I don't know him for that. That's why I made sure my kids know I never do that. My type, gon' protect his home. I had a homie who got killed down the street from his home. Now that was wrong cause she was with him, couldn't leave him alone. She had to witness how it happened, now she can't move on. Sorry it happened, but it's like, but really what could you do? They pointing fingers, cursing names like it's helping them through. They shedding tears, hate to cry, but they letting them fall. They don't fear, they just hoping that they make it tomorrow. And I don't blame them, I be praying that I'll make it tomorrow. Dealing with grief from my past, feelings buried in sorrow. Wanna run away from pain, but can't hide the feeling. Wanna load up the weapon, but don't wanna be killing.
Let's talk about it. Yeah. Let's talk about it. Talk about it. Yeah, come on. You know we gotta talk about it. You know we gotta talk about it. Talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Yeah. Let's talk about it. Talk about it. Yeah, come on. You know we gotta talk about it. You know we gotta talk about it. Talk about it. Let's talk about it. You know what? You got me stuck like we can't go Dutch. Feeling you so much till everybody listen. Been there from the gate, I feel it must have been faith. Kept me together when I thought it would break. You know just what to say. To lighten my day, to brighten my day. You know you put some right in my day. Can't see it no other way. You like the keys to my safe, the feel in my space. Man, you keep the smile on my face, always in my grace. I guess you got it like that. That's why I got your back when it's time to react. Good times, bad times leave you stuck in my mind. I'm glad that you're mine like a zodiac sign. A whole lot of meaning, leak ass fiending. Your kind's genuine, leave them stuck daydreaming. I guess to sum it up, I guess it's all about you. So can't nobody do it like you do. Let's talk about it.
I promise today change. We just wanna get away from the worries of feeling pain. If the sun don't heal us, just give us some more rain. If the stress don't kill us, the struggle strengthen our brain. Not the same, and we know it. We elevated the game for the game to